My girlfriend's ex, who almost killed her years ago, called her and asked, "Will you please testify for me at my trial?" Naomi and I were making breakfast when her phone rang. She looked at the screen and her whole body stiffened. "Why are you calling me Tim?" I watched her press the phone to her ear and listen. Her jaw tightened. "And why would I do that?" I could hear his voice through the speaker, desperate, pleading. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. "Fine, I'll testify." She hung up. "What the hell was that?" I asked her. "Tim, he has an assault charge. He wants me to testify and be a character witness. And you said yes after everything he did to you?" She looked at me, calm, unreadable. I said I'd testify. Just trust me, babe. I wanted to argue. I wanted to remind her of everything, but I knew that look, that I got this look, so I trusted her. For context, I met Naomi at a chronic illness support group 3 years ago. She was still dating Tim at the time, and 2 months ago, he'd pulled a sewer slide prank on her. She came home and found him in the bathtub surrounded by rose petals and a goodbye note. She already had a condition that made her vulnerable to cardiac arrest. Stress, shock, fear, any of it could kill her. Tim knew that and still pulled the prank. The shock stopped her heart. She died twice that night. They brought her back, but the damage was permanent. When I first saw her walk into that support group, I never would have guessed any of that. She was the brightest person in the room. She smiled easily and laughed at small things. When she talked about Tim, her voice was soft, hopeful. "He's been perfect since it happened," she told the group the first time I saw her. "He cooks for me. He researches my medications. He holds my hand every night and tells me how sorry he is." She believed he was changing. Naturally, I didn't talk to her much at first, just listened. For the first month, she glowed. Then suddenly her light started to dim. One week she mentioned Tim had forgotten her medication. She laughed it off. The next week she looked tired, said he'd been playing loud music and she couldn't sleep. The week after that, she barely spoke. That was when she started sitting next to me. Over the next few weeks, the stories got worse. Her chest had been hurting, but Tim called her dramatic. He'd started scaring her on purpose, hiding behind doors, jumping out when she walked by. Once he woke her up screaming that someone was breaking in, and when she collapsed from the panic, he laughed. We started texting her between meetings, short messages at first, then longer ones. Then she started calling me when Tim was asleep, just to hear a voice that didn't make her afraid. I was falling for her, but she was still with him, and I wasn't going to be that guy. Then came the night everything changed. She showed up at my apartment at 1 a.m., bag in hand, shaking. I woke up and he was standing over me, just staring. I asked what he was doing and he smiled and said he was checking if I was still breathing. She didn't cry. She was past crying. I can't go back there. She stayed on my couch that night, then the next. 2 months later, we got a place together. 6 months after that, I told her I loved her. She said it back. I spent the next 2 years watching her rebuild, her confidence, her health, her smile. The woman who'd walked into that support group was bright again, and now Tim wanted her to save him. The night before the trial, I asked her one last time, "Just tell me what you're planning." She looked at me. "You'll see tomorrow." When tomorrow came, we sat in the back of the courtroom. Tim was at the defendant's table. He looked like crap, pale, thin. He couldn't stop fidgeting. The second we walked in, he turned around. When he saw Naomi, his whole body relaxed. His face lit up like she was the answer to everything. He mouthed, "Thank you," then made a little heart shape with his hands and pressed it to his chest. Naomi smiled at him. I wanted to throw up. The prosecutor laid out the case. Tim had beaten his new girlfriend, fractured her jaw, broke 3 ribs. The whole time, he kept looking back at Naomi, like she was his anchor. Every time, she'd nod slightly. Mouth, "It's okay." Then they called her to the stand. She walked up, sat down, looked right at Tim. He was smiling, hopeful, desperate. "Ms. Williams, can you describe the defendant's character?" Naomi took a breath. "There's a lot I could say about Tim." He nodded, smiled wider, "But none of it is good." His face crumbled. "He's manipulative, cruel, dangerous. He faked his own death as a joke and gave me permanent heart damage. Then he spent months trying to finish the job because he thought my fear was funny." Tears filled Tim's eyes. He mouthed, "Please." But Naomi didn't stop. "The woman he beat? I believe every word, because that's who he is when the doors are closed." She looked right into his eyes. "He's not sorry for what he did. He's sorry he got caught." Tim was sobbing now. Guilty. 8 years. Me and Naomi walked out the door before they even took him away. 8 months later, a letter arrived. "I've changed. I'm in therapy. When I get out, if you want to try again, I'm open to it. I still love you. Tim." Naomi handed it to me. "You write back." I grabbed a pen. "Don't drop the soap."